Hello. Hi, everyone. This is Sagar Shah. Welcome to day 11 of Improve Your Chess Openings with Sagar Shah. I think I had mentioned day 10 on the stream, but okay, I have to change it. Uh, this class is actually reserved for the biggest chess lovers out there. In fact, people who are very serious about chess improvement, because the timing is such. It's afternoon, 2 p.m. It's like you really want to go to sleep after having a nice lunch, but here I am teaching you opening theory, and unfortunately you have to. If you love chess, it's fortunately. If you don't, and if you like me, like being on the stream, then this is unfortunate. But I hope both can combine and you can learn chess. You can also enjoy here. We are going to learn about the Benko Gambit. And Benko Gambit is what we learnt from Swapnil Dhopade yesterday, one of India's topmost Benko Gambit players. I hope you learnt a lot. Please let me know in the chat if you can hear me well and if everything is okay, and that you learnt a lot about Benko Gambit yesterday. Did you go through what he had taught? Because he showed so much yesterday. Okay, a shout out to a few of you out there: Nikunj, Dipanshu, Jyoti, Kushal, Omkar, Rishila, Krishan, Suraj, Murugan, Sumed, Mayur Gondalekar, who says, "Good to see you. I won't be able to see the full time today, so just dropping by." Okay, Mayur, that's fine. Right. So everyone can hear me well. All sound is good. Sub Changasi is the new way to say everything is okay. I learned something about this mic. Is that I don't need to speak on the top of it like this. I should be talking right here, on the side of it. This was sent to me by Shashank, who watches our streams regularly and is also doing his PhD in 3D sound. So he said, you should be talking into the mic, and that's what I'm doing now. I think the sound should be good. Okay. All right. So what we are going to discuss today is what Swapnil did yesterday. Not the same thing, but I want to round up things. Swapnil taught a lot of things yesterday, but it was all kind of one direction here, one direction there, and I want to put it all together so that you can confidently go out there and start playing the Benko Gambit. So let's say white plays d4, you go knight f6, c4, and we've already covered e6 in depth with Nimzo Indian, with Queen's Gambit Declined, with Bogo Indian, and this entire family. And now I suggest to you to play the move c5. And this is actually a very useful move to have in your repertoire. Why? Because imagine that if white plays the move knight to f3, cd, knight d4, knight c6, knight c3, g6, e4, d6. This is actually accelerated dragon, and we are going to discuss this in 1 e4. So many times things can transpose into 1 e4 territory as well, and I really like how the entire repertoire will be useful for you as one big whole, one big kind of a block of openings. Okay. Welcome, Nandan. So Nandan says he's new to Benko Gambit. Well, Benko Gambit is new for many people out here, but I think you will learn a lot from this. And yes, Nikhil, who's the moderator, is just put in the link of Discord channel of chessbaseindia. And through this Discord channel, we want to create a community where we can interact more closely with each other. And also I can interact more closely with you people. So if you would like to be a part of Chess Base India's Discord, then please click on that link and become a member. It's the Chess Base India army, as they say, not a member. So please do that. Okay. So d5 is actually the most logical move here. And black goes for b5. And this is how the Benko Gambit begins. Now in this position, if you remember, yesterday was the move queen to c2 was discussed. Do you remember Swapnil was black against which top grandmaster when queen c2 was played? If you can tell me, let me know in the comment section. b5, queen c2, against which strong grandmaster did Swapnil play this? There were many games that we saw yesterday. Sumed, yes, you are right. Kushal Chess, Suryansh Verma, absolutely. It was played against Lalit Babu, one of India. Omkar Brahmabhat, Murugan, Janil Shah, Spark Chess Academy, very good. Quest, nice to see you. Suman Chakrabarti. Yeah, Lalit Babu, and the game went on with bc4, e4, g6, bishop into c4, d6. If you remember, bg7, castles. So in that sense, we have covered queen c2 move. All that you have to do is just take this pawn, play g6, bg7, d6, castles, and it's normal chess, like play knight bd7, knight b6, and so on. Another move that is played in this position, apart from taking the pawn, which is the main move, is knight to f3. And you can look at different possibilities here, but I think the easiest could be to play g6, and after cb5 to continue with a6, and in the same kind of vein of the Benko Gambit, and it seems like quite a normal way to play this way. But you can also play like Swapnil, which is to take here. It is not a completely illogical move, like knight c3, d6, then follow it up with g6, bg7. But here white has the added advantage that he wants to play e4, knight d2, knight c4. You can counter that with maybe putting your knight to b6, and there's a bit of study that you must do in such positions, but seems like okay. And I've also realized that when white doesn't take on b5, you can always strike in the center with the move e6, and that is very powerful. So keep that in mind, that you always have that option to play. But anyway, let's move on to c into b5 systems, because that is what you will face more often, and where you need to be prepared, and a6. And here I want to talk a bit about this move b6, because I used to play it a lot with white, and I think it's a very legitimate move. It's a very nice idea. The point is that you give up this pawn, let's say queen b6, you want to play knight c3, e4, knight f3, knight d2, knight c4, bishop e2, castles, and so on. Like it's a very natural way to play. In fact, I remember I had some game here with Ram. One second, let me see if I can get that game for you guys. Yeah, just trying to find out c4, c5, d5, b5, cb, a6, b6. and this was, I think, I'd played it with white pieces, and I just want to show you the power of this system. Ram Prakash was the opponent, and so the way this game continued was knight c3 and queen. Here he played d6 in the game. I went knight c3, bishop b7, which I did not like. I played e4. He played knight bd7. I played a4, now forcing him because a5 would just cement a pawn. So queen b6, knight f3, g6, and now white to move. What should white play here? What is a good move for white? Let me know in the comments. Nandan, queen a5 would not make much sense, because after say cb5, queen a5, just knight c3 looks okay. Doesn't seem too good. A5 Kushal chess. Yeah, A5 looks decent. Not bad. Not bad. What? Yes, Suryan Shwarma, Ilam Parthi. Absolutely right. Reginald Robinson says, it's a little too late for me. I'll watch it tomorrow. I like playing the Benko. I only half accept the Gambit. Okay. Good. Good that you were up so late night to just say hi, and wonderful to know. Thank you. Yes, knight d2 is the correct move. That's what I played, and this is the entire idea of the system. Knight c4, queen c7, a5, stopping knight b6, castles, bishop e2, rook a d8, castles, and I think this is what this system is all about. I have got my knight on c4, I have pawn on e4, and next I will expand with f4, e5. And I think it's very difficult for black to do anything much here. He had to weaken his position quite a bit, because my knight was, my threat was f4. So he played g5, but bishop takes, bishop c4. Now e6 is hanging, knight g4. Now e5 and h6 both are hanging. So finally he lost material, and I went on to win the game. So this just shows that this entire idea of the b6 move is not so silly, and does revolve around putting a knight on c4 and then expanding on in the center. So what I did was, I tried to study it a bit, and then I realized that actually what black can do here need not be always playing the Benko style, which is like, play d6, then take this pawn, put your knight on d7, g6, bg7. That is okay. Sometimes you must strike in the center immediately. And this somehow goes against the entire concept of the Benko, where you need a strong structure. But white is anyway giving up the pawn back, so you can strike in the center and say, how is white going to react? So definitely what white doesn't want to do is give you d6, fe6, and this option of playing d5. So he will play knight to c3. Now here I have two games to show you. In fact, it happens after ed, knight d5, queen d5, and it looks like white is clearly better. You can see his queen is beautifully placed, hitting the rook here. But I went knight c6, and now one of my opponents played knight to f3. He is the very talented youngster from Mumbai. His name is Bhavik Bharambe. Maybe you have heard of him. He was the national champion, I think, at one point, under 15 or something. And in this game also he was pretty strong. So I was very happy to get this win. Now, knight f3. Imagine that it is white to move here. What would white threaten? What would white threaten in this position? White to move. What would you play? Actually, it's black to move, but just to understand what's happening here, so that you have an idea. Knight g5, says Ilam Parthi. Yes, knight g5 is one move. I think much more serious is knight to e5 also, because you are looking at f7 and also c6. So that's the main threat in this position. And so rook b8 is what I played, and that's a good move here. He went anyway, knight e5. I think another move is e4 here, and you must see that, okay, now what white wants to do is play bishop c4. So you quickly play bishop e7, bishop c4 and castles. Next up, you can take this and you can play d6, bishop e6, and I think black is doing fine. It's around equal position here. But knight e5 is very interesting move, and it's like the opponent says to me that I want to mate you on f7, or I'm going to take your knight on c6. So what should black do here in this position? I would like to ask you, because it's a very, very direct way of playing here. Black to move. You are being threatened a mate on f7, and there is only one good way to prevent it. What will you play? Yes, Anish Godse, Omkar Brahma Bhatt, Devraj Banerjee, absolutely right. Ilam Parthi, Avyaya Bhatt. If you play bishop b7, queen f7 is a pretty mate there. So don't play such moves. Knight into e5, then queen e5. That might just lose you the rook, here. So be careful there. Queen f6 is the correct move. And now you prevent this. You are threatening to take the knight. My opponent played knight into c6. I took. And he played queen e4 check. Bishop e7. g3. And here I played rook into b6. Bishop g2. Bishop e6. Queen a4 and castles. And he also castled. Now, I want all of you here in this to tell me what's happening here in this position. Who is better? What are the imbalances? We have studied imbalances first. I think there are a lot of people here who studied imbalances with me. So, who do you think is better? Why? What are the imbalances in this position? So, tell me that. Why not bishop c6 is the question. In which position? Here, castles. If you take bishop c6, I think it's just too risky. First of all, I can play bishop h3. Stop you from castling here. And in general, I think you are going to face a very tough time. This bishop is kind of blocked here. Because of the b2 pawn weakness, this bishop sort of misplaced. My king is safe, your king is not. So he didn't take, he castled. And this is where I want you to make some assessments in the position. Black is better as open D and B file, says Anish. Okay, that's interesting concept. Anish, you want to say this open files give you an advantage as black? Black is better. Ayush Mani, Be Happy Brother says black better position. Varun Kodikal says black doubled pawn weaknesses. Satyanand Subhash says black is better as its pieces are all open. Okay. Funny Verma, black is better with open files. Kushal Chess, white has better pawn structure, but black has lead in development. Black is better, right? Very interesting. Sometimes, when I'm playing with black pieces, you all are a little bit biased. You feel that I should be the one who has an advantage. But I think in general, you all are right. Suryansh Verma says black has double pawns, black has semi-open B file, both white and black bishop. Pair, black is better developed, B2 is weak. And Suryansh, always end your analysis with an evaluation, because without an evaluation, we would not know who is better. So Sumed also feels black is better. Okay, very nice. Ilam Parthi says has given everything. Ilam Parthi, what do you think? Who's better here in this position? So in general, I would say that this position is around even, because the weaknesses here are offset by the active pieces. This is kind of inactive, this is a weakness. So that's why I was quite happy with my position. And my next move, which was c4. This move c4 is actually cramping this position pawn further, because whenever I'll win it, this pawn would be just 3 squares away from queening. I wouldn't say equal plus, I would say around equal is correct. Bishop c6 is what was played in the game. I think that was a blunder. He should have played queen a5 when I was planning bd8. And yeah, there are ideas now in this position to give some kind of a discovered attack. It's around equal there, but taking that pawn was not a good idea, and I pushed on with c3, because now if you take this pawn, then queen into c3 not only attacks the rook but also the bishop, so that's lost. So he played b3, which was the only move in this position. And here I want you to think for a bit and tell me how should black try for an advantage here. I mean, he's close to winning. There are a lot of moves which win here, but I think I found a really nice move. I didn't find it during the game. I played something else, but there is a very nice move here. So black to move. Calculate a bit deeply. Calculate. Try to see. Yeah, bishop c6, c3 wins a piece, Ilam Parthi. But now b3. How do you finish off your opponent? Ashwin Makwana is here. Ashwin, welcome to the show. Ashwin, nice to have you here. It's right from the opening, so maybe you can you will be able to understand what's going on. Okay, all those who say c2, go deeper. What will opponent play if you play c2? He will of course attack your rook with bishop e3. Yes, Nandan, the move which you suggest is what I played in the game as well. So not a bad move, but c2 bishop e3. Suryansh says rook b4. Right, this is what was my calculation. And here I saw that queen a5 was the move that could be played, but also there was another move which is queen into a6. So I was thinking about what to play here, and then I spotted, I can attack his queen here. Now the only way to actually for white to survive here is to play queen a7, because if you were to play queen a8, then bishop h3 is already winning with attack on the queen and the rook. So queen a7, and then I take, queen takes, bishop h3. I was thinking about this move quite a bit, but then I saw f3 and I kind of gave up this line. One of the main reasons being bishop f1, queen b4, and I thought that okay, this is good, but not enough perhaps to win, because I'm like pawn down, and I don't know if this will queen or not. But what is it that I had missed actually in this position after f3? Can you tell me? Black to move and win. There was a move that I missed. Yes, Kushal Chess, absolutely right. This is the move that I had missed actually in this position. Let me see if a few more people can get that right answer. Ujjwal Bhatia says notification nahi aayi, fir se start karo. Well, Ujjwal, watch it later. I'm very surprised that there was no notification. Guys, do you see that b4 is hanging? So try to find a move which saves that and also wins the f1. Yes, the right move is rook to b7, and all of you who found it, well done. Just push the queen away somewhere, let's say queen c5, and now I take bishop f1. Sorry, here rook c8 first. Yeah, that makes sense. Rook c8, bishop e3, bishop f1, rook f1, and yeah, this is winning because after rook 8 there's not enough that white can do. These pawns are going to fall, and this is not going away so soon. So yes, I did miss that move c2, but I took bishop b3 in the game, a b3, and I played queen into c6. I didn't take with the rook because bishop g5 would have just lost me the game, cost me the entire game. So queen c6, queen c6, rook c6, and now he played bishop e3. I think bishop a3 was better, but okay, bishop e3 was played, rook b8, rook d1, rook into b3, rook d7, bishop f8, king g2, f6, and I'm a pawn up. I have a nice position, and I am now threatening bishop a3 soon, and so here my opponent resigned the game because bishop a3 is coming, and next rook a2, and he's losing a lot of material. So the thing which I wanted to show is sometimes all this moves which are, knight f3, rook b8, knight e5, it might seem like these pawns are too weak, but actually they give a lot of free play. Bishop e6, bishop e7, castles, rook b6. You can just play naturally. By the way, Amruta just made a very nice grilled sandwich. I'm going to eat it during the class. I hope you all had your food. Devin Anand says reconnected with chess after 7 years, was a state runner-up when I was 7. I would have never left chess if I had a teacher like you. Very grateful. Well, Devin, great that you reconnected with chess, and I'm also very happy that so many people in the lockdown have come back to chess. That's really amazing. Okay, so let's move on. I wanted to show you another game because this was a very memorable game for me. So I was playing in this Fujairah Masters tournament. I don't know if any of you have been to Fujairah. It's in the UAE, one of the islands. Actually, UAE is made up of, if I'm not wrong, 7 islands or 7 different places like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, few more, and one of them is Fujairah. And this was one of the strongest events I have played because there were so many 2600 plus grandmasters, and there was also players like me who were 2200. And in this event, all you had to do is beat players who were rated lower than you, and try to hold 1 or 2 GMs, and you get your IM norm. That was the thing. And so that's the reason why this game was extremely important for me, because I had played a few GMs, drawn against one of them, lost to a couple of them, and now I was playing against Sarvanan, who is also one of India's most well-known IMs. His book videos are very, very famous. In fact, if you haven't seen it already, please go to chessbaseindia channel and find the videos there. Sarvanan has a wealth of knowledge on chess books and in general chess. He's a very good coach as well, and he always opened his game with one knight f3, and I prepared a lot for him with the move c5, c4, g6, d4 takes, knight d4, knight c6, e4, bg7, the accelerated dragon. I thought he would play that. And then when I went to the board, in fact, I prepared for nearly 5 to 6 hours for this game. I remember it very vividly, although it's 8 years ago. My roommate was IM Aditya Udeshi, and he was also helping me with this. But when I went to the board, he played the move d4, and I was like, okay, d4 means that Sarvanan did not play his favorite opening, knight to f3. By the way, Nandan, who is Sarvanan's son, is also watching this video. So, we have someone from his family here. d4, knight f6. And when Sarvanan played c5, I felt like the one opening which he must not have faced often is the Benko. And so you see, having such a gambit-like line in your repertoire is always useful. So I played c5. Although it was an important game, I thought I should play aggressive chess. He played d5. I played b5. He took. I played a6. He played b6 here. And we know the move. Just for you to kind of refresh your mind, can you tell me what is the best move for black here? Black to move. What should black play here? Asanga, when you prepare for an opponent, the main thing that you use is mega database and chessbase. You prepare from his past games, you see what he has played, and then you try to prepare against that. So it's essentially always looking at these games in this mega database, which has around 8 million games, and then seeing, okay, he plays this opening, I should go here, and so on. So that's why I've always put the link of chessbase and mega database in the description, where all of you can go and buy it, because if you are serious about chess, believe me, it's the best thing to work with. Nitesh Dubey says, when I start losing, I lose 7-8 games in a row. What to do? Well, Nitesh, when you start to lose, it's better to, when you start feeling, don't go in the inertia of playing one game after another. Just calm down a bit, take a break, and then sit down again. I have always said that even when you play blitz, take your time, analyze your game, and then play. It will help you to improve better. Many people just keep playing one blitz game after another, which is not good. Okay, coming back, I think all of you who were attentive and very, very focused were able to find the move e6. Well done. He played knight to c3. I played ed. knight d5, queen d5. Now we know knight c6. And here Sarvanan played the move bishop to g5. And I think this is where my knowledge of opening theory was over, and I believe that even he didn't know much about this because he also took quite some time for his moves. So that's why after bishop g5 I responded with queen into b6, and now came the move long castle. Actually, in the game I was quite afraid of the move queen to e4. I was thinking to myself, what will I do if he gives this check? Isn't this looking really bad? So guys, try to calculate what's happening here, because if you think about it deeply, this king has no square to go to. So you must block, but when you block, he can take. And then if you take back, he can take the rook. That looks horrible, yes? So think a bit and tell me what's happening in this position. Queen e4 check. How do you continue? This position is quite a complex one, and I would like you to think a bit more deeply. Queen b4 check at the end. Yeah, but let's talk about move by move. Like you go bishop e7, knight e7, queen a8. And now one way is to, as was pointed out by Kushal Chess, is to give a perpetual with check, king d1, only move. Check, king goes anywhere, you give a check, king goes here. You threaten a mate, and then he must come out and then check, and it's a draw. But there is also a way to play for a win here, and instead of queen b4, let me see if castles bishop b7 will trap the queen, says Anish. But when you castle, I think white will just go back queen e4, and so there's no time to trap him. He's able to escape. So that's the reason why you need to be precise, and this is exactly what I want you guys to do. You need to calculate precisely. You shouldn't be like, oh, this will happen, that will happen, and so on. So Ilam Parthi says check, king d1, queen b2. Ilam Parthi, after rook c1, what's your plan? Do you want to take a draw with check, check? And I think you could be happy with a draw, but try something more. Try for something more here. You guys are a bit too, how should I put it, unambitious here. Black can actually try for a lot more. Yes, Pranav Jujare, you are absolutely right. Well done. Shriyana, queen b2, rook d1 is draw, is like equal position. And so the right move, as pointed out by Pranav, is d5. Well done. Traps the queen kind of in this box here. You can't go out of this. And so he must say plays castles, and now here you go castles. Now if rook d5, I think there are several ways to win, but bishop f5 is the nicest of them all, because the queen is trapped. He must take rook d1, knight c6 with a winning position. And another is e3, then I play bishop b7 and takes. And although materially white is doing well, but look at black's structure, his piece development. Also, his knight is going to soon jump from c6 to b4. He can play d4, bishop e4, and so on. And this is just winning position for black. So that's the reason why you can't play queen e4, and I was very happy to spot this over the board. This was not home preparation, it was over the board, and my opponent here long castled. I played the move rook to b8, threatening a sly mate in 1. Also removing the bishop, the rook from this diagonal. So he played queen d2, and now several moves have an advantage, but just d5, and you can see how black is just completely dominating this position right out of the opening. He has great pieces here. His bishop is coming to f5. You can't touch this pawn because b2 is hanging. My other bishop can come to d6. I can castle. My knight can jump to b4. It's just game over. He played e4 in the game. I went d4, bishop c4, bishop e6, bd5, and here knight b4. Nice move. King b1. Knight d3 was not the most accurate. I should have taken and played queen g6. This would have won nicely because king c1 ends with a pretty checkmate. And king a1, then I take knight c2, king here, and knight e3, take on d1 with the entire rook up. But I went knight d3, not bad. Bishop c6, queen c6, queen d3, and now queen a4 was a strong move because now there's a mate on a2. And here he played a3, bishop c4, queen f3, rook jumped into b3, queen f4. I took the pawn on a3. Now threatening the b2 pawn, queen e5, bishop e6, bishop c1, rook b6, knight e2, queen f4, and now after knight f4, bd6. White resigned. So black won a very, very simple and easy game, but it also shows the power of this system of e6 where you want to control the entire center. And of course, the move bishop g5 was not the best because it allows queen to b6. But your opponents can play it. If they think that, oh, bishop g5, queen b6, I can do queen e4 check and I will win the rook, then you can say be my guest and trap his queen inside the box, castle, and you will get free points for yourself. Okay. So that sort of covers the move b6. I would like you to do a bit of homework on the line with e6, knight c3, takes, knight d5, queen d5, knight c6, and now here e4. This is the move that I would like you to consider and think a bit more about. Bishop e7, bishop c4, castles, and try to analyze this position a bit more. Should I take with my queen here, or should I play rook b8, rook b6? Both seem okay. I'll go d6, bishop e6, and so on. Okay, so please have a look at that system. Okay, so that just about covers the move b6. And now we come to a6. Before we move to other lines, I want to see a move e3. Now this looks completely illogical move because you're playing very passively. But the idea is that white doesn't want his pawn to be on e4 where it will be a target for the black knight. So that's the reason why he puts his pawn on e3 and then continues knight c3, takes his bishop out, maybe puts his knight on e2, castles, and hopes that he will be a pawn up. So here what I recommend, and this is my game against GM Vishnu Prasanna, who is also a very strong GM, and we played this at the national teams in Hyderabad. I went for the move ab5, bishop b5, and now a check. So he must play knight c3, and I played the move bishop b7. Vishnu played the move bishop here a4. That was his move. And so what should black play here? I mean, bd2 is kind of the main move here, but then after queen b6, you really can't defend d5, because if e4, I can still take and win this bishop. So that's the reason why knight f3, knight d5, bishop d5, this is a normal way to play. In the game he played a4, and now what should black play here? Yeah, knight d5, absolutely. It seems the most natural and normal move. bd2, queen b6, knight f3. I played e6, castles, and now bishop to e7. Normal, natural move. He took bishop d5, and he played bishop c3. And here I went for the most interesting move here. I think castles just makes complete sense. I don't think there's any real problem, because knight e5 can be met with a move like f6. Possible, but okay, e4 maybe some trouble. But I'm thinking of, instead of castles, there is a more accurate move which I played in the game. Don't castle. There's a more accurate move. Can you find it? Black to move here. By the way, a big thanks to Madhav Bhatia for super chat. He always gives a nice super chat in these sessions, saying Guruji, and folds his hands. Master G OP. Thank you so much, Madhav. And I'm glad that you are attending so many sessions. That's wonderful. Mitesh Borkhetaria says, if bd2, queen b6, then queen b3. So you are saying here bd2, queen b6, and put queen b3 here. I think that's a very interesting option, but as we already know, in such positions you must play actively, and so I think e6 would be a very nice move here. Because if you take DE, the problem is bishop into G2, and you lose the rook. Otherwise, I will take back with knight into D5. So E6 looks like a fine move here. A4. Knight D5. Yeah, we come back to this position. And here, black to move was what my question is. Bishop F6 has been suggested by several of you. But I think Bishop F6 is not a good move. Mainly because after Bishop F6, GF6, White plays just Knight D2. And White is just clearly better. He will go E4, Knight C4, maybe put his queen to F3, G4, H5. I mean, it looks horrible. So let's not go there. Let's not play this. But let's play a much stronger move here. I think the right move and the one which I played was queen to B7. Looking at the G2 pawn, stopping Knight E5. And I was very surprised when my opponent actually played Knight E5. I thought I had stopped that move, Knight E5. So why is he playing? So I captured on G2. He took on D7. Now his threat being that he wants to take on C5 with a discovered check, winning my queen. So I played here Bishop C6. I think Knight into D7, Queen D7, King G2 leads to a small edge for White. So I think I played well. Bishop C6, Knight B8, Bishop B5, A B5, Rook B8. And later on, the game ended in a draw. It's equal. This pawn cannot be taken because Rook G8 and there is pressure here. So in the end, it turned out to be a draw. A very fighting game. But I think you understand how to meet E3. E3, you just take on B5 and then you give a check and then you attack D5 and you will win this pawn. In case if there's some difficulty, you can always play E6, unleashing this bishop. So that leads to a very good position. Okay, so let's go back. D5, B5, CB, A6, and now uh, last move before we come to B into A6, which is the main move, is F3. And I think this leads to very sharp games. And I recommend you to play even sharper chess here. You can play G6, which looks okay. But let's go E6, which is always a good idea when your opponent is not adhering to the normal developing principles, like put your knight out or develop your pieces. F3 is a very ambitious move because you want to control the center. But after E into D5, white has to be careful what to do now. So there are two main moves here. One is ED5 and another one is E5. Okay, Jasmeet Singh, thank you so much for your super chat. You've contributed, and thank you so much for that. Very kind of you. Shyam Sundar Pandey says, how much practice is required to become like me? In general, becoming like me is not a good aim. You should aim to become something like, say, Anand, Vidit, Carlson, all of these players, and then you need a lot of practice. If you want to become like me, I don't think it requires too much effort. Aryan Kumar Prasad has been asking me since quite some time how to play against the English Anti-Benoni system. Anti-Benoni is basically when you don't allow the Benoni. I mean, mainly you're saying about knight f3, c5, c4, then followed by d4 perhaps. I don't know exactly what anti-Benoni is. If you can tell me the moves. Kushal, yes, e5 is one of the main moves, and ed5 is also one of the main moves. I think ed5, you need to play a very nice move here. Let's see if you can find it. Black to move to get equality here. There is a nice move that black should play. Black to move. Rohit Punya, yes, I will check my DM. If it's important, yes, I will respond to it. It seems like this live streaming doesn't leave me with too much time in the day. So, I'm often live streaming in the morning, then preparing for this session, then live streaming here, then at evening I have something else. Yesterday there was the Hindi commentary with Niklesh Jain. Today I think I have something with Samay. So, in general, a lot of things happening. Yeah, very good, very good. This is great. Udav Patil, Pranav Jujare, Kushal Chess, Prasanna Kumar, Raminder Kaur, very good. Anish Godse, this is fantastic. BD6 is the correct move. You're putting your bishop on a very active square, looking here, and the other bishop can go to B7, and you can castle and put your rook on E8. It's fantastic. So instead of playing passively, you play bishop D6. So ED5, BD6, Queen E2. I was thinking, what if Queen E2? I don't want to exchange the queens, and you play King F8, Knight C3, AB, Knight B5, Bishop A6, and black really has no issues in such position. He's doing completely fine. So E5 is the main move here, and now it's very sharp. So you play Queen to E7, pinning the pawn. And now F4 won't be so good because of several reasons. One of them is D6, very strong move. So Queen E2 is what is played. And here black has to go back, Knight G8. If Knight C3, you put your bishop to B7. And I like the next sort of move order, Knight H3. What white wants to do is come Knight F4 and pick up this pawn with his attack with his two knights. So black to move. What's the only move for black to stay kind of equal in this game? Black to move. What should black play here in this position? Mayur says, hey Sagar, as usual, I will contribute something for this series, but separately, maybe PayPal or bank transfer. I'm gonna try out all these openings in Checkmate Corona tourneys. Fantastic. You must try these out. What you are learning, if you try out, you can fine tune them. So play on online chess, all of this. Get ready when it turns out that corona has been eradicated, things are corona free, tournaments are back in action, you should be like completely ready. You should be ready for the fight. You should not be like, oh, I did not prepare anything, I was just relaxing and stuff like that. D4 is not such a great move here, because I think D4 just leads to knight E4, and then if queen E5, which would be a blunder, because okay, knight D6, then just bishop D6, so that would not be good, but bishop F4, and that just wins for white. So not D4, but the move is, let me see if someone has found it. D4 is not so great. Yeah, this one is not so easy. I don't think people will be able to find this. Yeah, no one has been able to come up with it. The right move is C4, because you want to put your queen on C5. That's the only reason. So if knight F4, queen C5 here, and now if bishop E3, then D4 just wins on the spot. So therefore they play knight into D5, bishop into D5, bishop E3. Now there's no way for the queen to stay in touch here, so goes to queen B4, A3, queen here, bishop D2, bishop E6, and it leads to kind of an even position. I think here you can go back queen D8, or you can even sack this pawn, and after bishop C3, queen D8. Well, it leads to a complicated position, but black is around equal. So that's a little bit advanced, but you understand. F6 is not possible, Kushal, in that position, because I feel if you play F6 here, instead of C4, if you play F6, then he would go knight F4, and I don't know how, once the knight enters here, it will be tough to hold this. So knight H6, yeah, the main idea for any other move that you suggest is this move knight F4, this is hanging. Okay, so F6 was said by a lot of people, but after knight F4 I don't see, like queen E5, takes, knight FD5. I think white is close to winning here. So that's all about F3. Now we go to the main move, which is B into A6. Here you go G6 first, knight C3, and now you have an option. You need to choose here. As Swapnil said yesterday, do you want to go for the modern line, or do you want to play the old line, sort of? If you want to play the old system, then you take on A6 here, because whenever white is threatening to play E4, you'll be able to break his castling with bishop into F1, and that's why you take it now. Not here, because he's not yet threatening E4. So that's why you wait for him to play knight C3. But knight C3, bishop A6. Instead of that, if you want to play for the modern line, then go bishop G7 here, E4, and now castles. And you remember there was one move which Swapnil suggested yesterday. I don't know how many of you remember. Actually, we were looking at knight F3, queen A5, bishop D2, bishop into A6, and he said at that point that instead of this, there is another way in which white can play in this position. Do you remember? How should white play? He had mentioned a move, an important move here, white to move. Okay, what about the thumbnail story? The thumbnail is taken at IIFL tournament in Mumbai, and usually wherever I go, I'm always covered by, like I set up a stall for chess-base and for chess-based products, for books and so on. And then when I'm over there, one person comes, always with something like, I want to take this book and so on. And most of the times I will talk to him very nicely, like, I'll ask him about his game and then ask him if you want to solve some tactics, which books do you want, and then I'll show him some books. And what usually happens is that while I'm talking and showing something to him, someone else comes, then someone else joins, and before you know it, it's a big crowd. In fact, sometimes this is a small one, like you can see around 10, 12 people around me. But often there have been crowds like 40, 50 people around, huddled around, trying to get a view of what I'm trying to show. And it always brings me to only one thing, which is that it's very, very important whenever you do something to do it well, to actually give it your all, no matter if there are 100 people, if there are 200 people, if there are 2,000 people, 5,000 people watching, just like right now, I'm doing this thing and there are around 200 people, and all of a sudden I see that there is some raid that is happening, and then you realize that actually, instead of 200, now there will be 800 people or 1,000 people. I don't know. Samay raid, as always, he does that. I think he was going to talk about his event, the West Bengal fundraising event, and he has sent all the people over here. So thanks a lot, Samay, for the raid. Very, very nice. And also there are people who gave super chat right now. I don't know who is it, but Samay, as always, wonderful person, wonderful work he's doing. So thank you so much. And what he does is he sets up this entire video of me talking in his channel, so everyone can listen to him, which is what would be happening. Everyone would be listening to Benko Gambit, and people will be like, oh my god, what is Benko Gambit? This is just so boring. Why is he teaching us this, and so on. But anyway, so thanks a lot, Samay, for this raid. And that's, I was trying to tell you, do your work well and some things will happen. And see, I was teaching to 200 people and 200 more came in. Aju Mathai, thank you so much for the super chat. I think I missed one more who had given a super chat. So thank you all for doing that. Okay, so let's go back, and you were absolutely right. A7 is the move that Swapnil had mentioned, and his point was after rook a7, knight f3, queen a5, bishop d2. Now bishop a6 would not be a good move because of knight b5. Arvind Kumar, thank you so much for your super chat. He says, Samay raid, sign chahiye bhai. Karan Thanvi from Japan has contributed to 250 Japanese yen and says, from Samay, thank you. So many people coming from Samay's channel and contributing through super chat. Very nice. So a7 basically provokes the rook to come to a square where later on it can be attacked. So this was one very important game that I want to talk about. Rook a7, knight f3. Now queen a5. Instead of queen a5, I want you to look at the move e6. And this move has been played by Anish Giri. So that's the game that we should look at. By the way, a big thanks to Somil Garg, who's contributed 100 rupees. Thank you so much, Somil. Very kind of you. Um, Bishop e2 was played in this game, and then you take ed. Mandar Bakshi has contributed 40 rupees and says it was Mayor's Cup. I'm actually in the photo. Aha, Mandar, I think the one on the left, yes, on the top left. That's you, if I'm not mistaken. Samay Raina has contributed rupees 500 and says Sagar OP. Well, Samay, this is what can I say? He doesn't learn the Benko Gambit, but he still gives the super chat. What is this? Guys, come on. Samay, you should learn the Benko. Sanket, thank you so much. He says, great job, you guys. Learned a lot. The raid is always very interesting. Yeah, a lot of people come in and a lot of people have new things to say. They contribute a lot. And it's always very nice. Okay, so coming back to the game between Anish Giri and Adrien Demuth. Adrien Demuth is a French GM, and in this position, Adrien played ED. Anish played ED, D6. And after castles, he went knight to A6. So you can see that black is a pawn down. Also, he doesn't have this beautiful structure like he always has. There is a pawn missing on E7. But the D5 pawn is not so safe. Knight can jump to B4. Bishop can go to F5. Bishop can go to G4. So there's a lot of things already happening in this position. So knight D2 was played by Adrien, and then rook E8, bishop B5. I think that instead of this, knight C4 would have been more accurate. I don't know why he didn't play this move. Knight C4, and I think white has a small edge, but black should be able to equalize with accurate moves. Maybe one of them is knight E4. By the way, to all the people here, please keep in mind that there is an online tournament organized by Samay for the victims of West Bengal. I mean floods, cyclone, and it's happening from today. So if you haven't registered, then please do register for that. Avilay, thank you so much for your super chat. Karan Thanvi says, I'm on your channel only, CCTN always. What is CCTN? Sorry if I'm missing something, but Karan, thank you so much for giving 2 super chats today. CCTN. Not sure what is CCTN. Okay, so well, there are several moves. Knight E4 is one move. You can go knight C7 also. And in general, put more pressure on this pawn and get a good position. So, bishop B5, bishop G4 was played by Anish, and then he dropped his bishop back. And now came the critical mistake with knight C4, because Anish could just take this pawn here. It's a nice tactic actually, because if queen into D5, it doesn't work because of knight C7 attacking the queen and also the bishop, which is very powerful. And if you take knight into D5, then I take on B5. So actually knight D5 was very strong, but Anish missed it. He played knight H5 here, and after G4 again came up. This was a poor move. I don't know. Adrien was not in his element, and at the end he lost this game. Bishop C3 was simply missed. I think just bishop D7, queen D7, A4 gives white a good position. Okay, so my general suggestion to you is that if you're playing this line, then just go for A7, prepare it, and look for E6 break. You can also look at queen A5 lines, but maybe that's not the best, because BD2, bishop A6, knight B5 is there, and you may have to retreat your queen now. So instead of a7, if he goes knight f3, now you can play queen a5, bd2, and bishop a6. And here I want to stress on some game which is takes and queen e2. And now here, what is it that black should play? Here, black is a pawn down, but there's a nice way to get some counter play, black to move. How would you play? Sicilian is Sagar Shah's favorite move strategy. Maybe Sicilian is what you want to say, Karan? All those who are saying how to register for the tournament, well, what I will do is I will put the registration link in the description there in this article at the top, so you can register for the same. Register to Samai's online fundraising tournament. Okay, so I've updated it in the description, so you can all go from there and be a part of it. Check capture threat. Okay, check capture threat is Sicilian. Okay, got it. Okay, now I understand, Karan. Queen b7 says Ilam Parthi. Well, Ilam Parthi, not queen b7. It's okay if you exchange the queens. Here the problem, d6 looks like a nice way to reach an endgame, like takes, knight takes. Yes, Avilay, thank you so much for the super chat and also explaining to me what Sicilian is. Check capture threat, I just forgot. I think this is a nice position to play for black. He can put his rook here. In fact, try it out. It's actually you are a pawn down. For example, let's say king e2, rook f b8, b3. It looks like everything is good for white, but you can see there's so much pressure. Pressure here. The knight can jump here to here. There can be knight g4 with the ideas of knight e5 or bishop c3. And this is what Benko is all about. It gives you so much play in spite of being a pawn down in the endgame. So this is good to exchange queens. Also, I think e6 has to be considered because it also gives black some very nice play like fe6, queen a6, knight a6, and then later on you can play d5, knight b4, rook f b8 and get good play. So this is ideal. If you are playing the Benko, try to get some counter play this way. Okay, so that's the strategy. If you want to play the modern line, if you want to play the classical line, you can take on a6. If your opponent plays the fianchetto system, remember the game of Swapnil and Atul from yesterday, Atul Dahale, where he went knight here. You remember this was the system, rook f b8, and he created a lot of play in this game. So that's about g3. I think that was covered well yesterday. You just play on. And if your opponent plays e4, which was not covered, then you can take d6. And I think one of the lines which always puts me under a bit of tension is knight f3, bg7, g3, castles, king g2, knight bd7, and now a4. This is the move which I have considered is the best for black. For white in this system. The point is I want to put my rook on a3 and then play b3, bishop b2, queen c2, like that. This is the ideal way in which white kind of coordinates himself with his extra pawn and avoids any tactics on this diagonal. Rook b1 sometimes is played, but rook a3 is just very, very nice way to continue. So many times they go rook a3, knight b5, b3, bishop b2, and so on. So if you are going to play this line, please look into this, what to do with black. One plan is to go rook a6, Just for an example, play queen a8, have pressure down here, and also the queen is well placed and you can break with e6. Although you must work out the details accurately here and try to understand what's happening. Other plan is to just play queen a5, but I have a feeling that here rook a3, queen c2, white is able to hang on and keep his advantage. If you go g3, bishop g7, king g2, castles, knight f3, knight bd7, h3. This is a very common line, but then queen a5, rook e1, rook f b8. I think this is what was seen in the game Alexandro versus Swapnil yesterday, and you know it already. So that just about covers everything related to the Benko in this system, in this class. We have looked at so many different systems and lines. I think it will help you to play the Benko Gambit in your tournaments. And if you have any questions for this, please let me know in the comment section. Karan Thanvi, thank you so much for your third super chat today. He says, sorry for that pun. Thanks for the lessons. Yeah, thanks Karan. Sicilian is what I'll remember now. Okay, guys, do you have any questions related to the Benko Gambit? Otherwise, we can call it a day. I hope that you were able to understand this opening. From tomorrow, we move on to newer territories, some new openings. As always, I hope that this series, the main aim is not to like tell you, hey, if he plays this, you play that, and so on, and give you all the exact moves. The idea is to just give you knowledge, and then you kind of put it in the right buckets, and you say, okay, I now know Benko. Somehow I'm not feeling very comfortable with pawn sacrifice, but I know it. And this is the main thing about chess. If you should know most of the things, the knowledge is important. Okay, an online game to end the class. Okay, that's a good idea. Let's do that. What opening from tomorrow? Well, if I think d4 is covered up entirely, because we saw d4, we saw knight f6 e6 lines, we also saw d4 d6 lines with c4 e5 and knight f3 f5. Oops, not bishop f5, pawn f5. We looked at Benko system. I'm not a big fan of the Benoni with e6, so I'm not going to cover that. Yeah, I think sort of covers up most of the things that I wanted to speak. So maybe we can already look at going to e4 lines. And yeah, there are few things I want to cover here. One is e4 e5, another one is e4 c5, then e4 c6, e4 d6. So this is going to take some time, but I think it'll be a fun session. You'll have lot of things to learn. Also, maybe one session dedicated to French. So we cover everything. Okay, so let's play a game. Let's play in play chess. I will come to, where should I come? I'll close this. Let me see if I can share my screen. Can you hear me well? I think so. Okay, let's play a game here. And let me open this up. Let's come and meet in the Chessbase India room, which is here in play and watch, or I'll just play in the main playing hall, and let's play a game and see if we can have a Benko before calling it a day. 3+2 is my ideal time rated, and I have now black pieces. Okay, let's see if opponent plays d4. Maybe the opponent is offline, so let me abort this game. Seek 3+2. Okay, we have Nihilesh with whom I'm playing, and I'm white. I think Nihilesh was there in the class. Let's play knight f3, first move. d5. Okay, I want to play how should I continue? b3. Okay, let's play b3. What happened? Is my internet gone, or is Nihilesh off the internet? Okay, knight f6, bishop b2. c5. Okay, e3. Should I go e3? Okay, e3. Okay, I'm going to play knight bishop b5 and see what's happening. It's an interesting system. In fact, this is what I would recommend you to play with black pieces against 1b3. It's a very solid system for black. I like it very much. I've played many games. Usually what white does is gives up this bishop and then plays castles and plays f4 and tries to attack. I hardly think the attack is successful, but okay, we can try. We can try attacking. How about going rook f3? Let's go for the attack. Let's see what happens. I don't know. Well, I want to play rook h3 now, or rook g3. What do you think is better? Rook g3. Both moves look good. Rook h3. Okay, let's try for rook h3, and then maybe I can go knight g4. Who knows? Perhaps there would be good attacking chances there. I can see some pretty mating ideas, like in this position, like knight g4, queen g4, threatening a mate. If g6, I have queen h5 threatening a mate, and if gh5, then rook g3. No, so should I go knight g4? I don't like this move b6 as such, but okay, he's keeping his bishop. I can go d3, knight d2, but why don't we go for an attack and look at that line, because that line looked really pretty, which was knight g4, queen g4, g6, queen h5, gh, and rook g3 mate. Let's see if that works out. I don't know if Nihilesh is listening to me on chat, but let's see if we can checkmate him. I think bishop e7 is possible here. Bishop e7, yeah, that's a good move, I think. Okay, let's play just simple chess. d3. d4. Okay, that's usually a good idea in such positions to shut down everything. How should I continue? My rook looks totally misplaced there. Okay, let's play e4. Yeah, let's play e4. Although the bishop on b2 is not too happy with that move, but well, you can't keep everyone happy. Queen d7. Okay, let's go knight d2. Knight g4, queen g4. Okay, f5, nice. But what's your plan if I go here? Take. It's possible. Queen h5. h6, maybe rook g3 I'm looking at. Some attacking chances. I don't know if they are enough, but I'm just fiddling around a bit. King h8. Queen g6. Bishop h4 should be possible. Okay, come back here. Bishop f6. I want to play e5 here, but it doesn't help me too much. It opens up his bishop as well, but I think it's okay. It's okay. I can go now knight to f3. Queen f7. Yeah, sort of queen exchange becomes forced here. Or is it? Is it forced for me to exchange the queens? Can I keep the queens on the board? Let's try and keep the queens on the board. Let's keep some attacking chances on. Like knight g5 perhaps could come in. Bishop e7, rook f1. I like black's position a lot here. Okay, knight h4, looking at g6 square. Takes, queen takes. Rook e8, rook g3. Queen e7, queen h5. Okay, let's go back. Queen d7. I don't know what exactly I should be planning here. Draw? Not really. I mean, I'm not in a mood to draw this game. Let's play on. Let's see what happens. Oh, man, that's just free queen. Why? What happened? Just moments after offering a draw, he just went crazy and sacked his queen. I don't know why he did that. Okay, king f2 with the idea of rook g1. Should have taken directly there. This is mate now. Okay, that was tough game. Nihilish, I don't know. He played well in general. Strong moves. Okay, Samai says please check WhatsApp when free. Samai, just about to finish this stream and I will be back. I think that was pretty intense game that you guys witnessed. Nihilesh played very well. Let me see if I made any mistake. As always, we should analyze the game. So start analysis, copy this, go to chessbase 15 and go to here. Let me get this view now. Okay, let me paste it. So knight f3 was played by me in the game. He went d5, b3, knight f6, bishop b2, c5. I think in general my opponent didn't play. I mean, somehow he was playing really well, and then he didn't play so well. I don't know. He just gave up on g2. I don't know. Mouse slip or something. Suddenly, all of a sudden, he didn't do so well. So okay, I'm going to flip the board. Ilam Parthi, what about King's Indian defense? We will look at it from at least from both sides. Maybe from white more, as I've played with white, but maybe if you have something, we'll invite you to teach King's Indian defense from black. How do you like that idea? If you can do that. So knight e5, bd7, I took, castled, bishop d6, f4, castles. And now, d3 I think is a normal move. You can play knight d2, knight f3. But I went for this rash attack. Not a great idea. Rook c8 I don't like so much. Knight d7 might be a better way to play this. Okay, rook c8, rook h3, and now he went b6. Not a good move. I think b6, d4 is possible, and actually this is a very nice pawn sacrifice. Take, and just sometimes you can just play bishop e5, and queen b6, because after king h1 there is knight e4, and all these tricks because I am underdeveloped. So that's why instead of rook f3, I think d3 would have been the right way to play. Okay, here I was tempted by this this mating attack, which was like here takes, queen takes, and now if he goes say g6 to prevent mate, then I have queen h5, and this is a beautiful mate, like a checkmate. So but okay, he could have played d4, which is a nice move. Always remember this trick: when you're ahead in development, try to open up the position as much as you can. Here bishop f4 is hanging, and overall black is better. So bishop e7, I played d3, d4, e4, I went queen d7. I think knight e5 was okay, but I played knight d2, take, f5, queen h5, h6, rook g3, king h8. Good play by my opponent here. Bishop f6, I played e5, he played bishop here. And maybe now, knight c4 with the idea of knight d6 would have been better. I went knight f3 and then queen f7. I think here already black is pressing. I like black's position a lot. Also knight g5, I wasn't too sure what to do after queen g6, so he played knight h4, he took, queen h4, rook e8, and here I was just waiting, biding my time, trying to see if I could do something, maybe play for a4, but that also didn't look great, and well, he just blundered. I don't know why he blundered. Anyway, what's your rating, Nihilesh? If you are on the stream, please let me know, because I think you played really well. Nihilesh is here. What's his rating? Okay, so let's end today. I think it was nice. We learned Benko, we played games, and I will see you tomorrow again. I think many of you can attend the first morning session which I do with the comedians, and then we'll meet again for the opening session. So take care, bye bye, and see you. And do be a part of the Discord, which the link was posted. Maybe Nikhil, you can post it once more in the chat so that people can be a part of this. Nihilesh says 1291. That you played really well. Okay, Nihilesh, it's a very good play for a 1291 players. So well done. There's no real homework for today. Just my suggestion is look at all the openings. Look at all the games in the Benko. Try to study Swapnil's games from Black. He's really a good player in the Benko, and also Perunovic is a good GM who plays Benko all his life. And maybe you can look at the games of Pal Benko, the founder of this opening. So that's all from me. Take care. Bye bye. Bye Shriyana. Thank you always for thanking me at the end. And thanks Nikhil for putting in the link. See you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.